Hello everybody and welcome back to the chassis variant series with myself, Critical Rocket. We're looking at the last of the Quickdraw variants, the 5K. The other variants that are available are obviously the Champion one and the Hero variant, the IV4, which is loosely based on a member of Red Jack Ryan's crew, female MechWarrior, I forget her name. Sadly I don't have the IV4, maybe one day in the future I'll add it to the series. But yeah, alongside the 4G and my much older 4H video of the Quickdraw, this represents the end of that series of mechs. So, the 5K is based on the 5A model. It's a derivative of that. The 5A was developed in the early 3000s with the intention of making the Quickdraw more, search for the word here, but basically giving it a longer lifespan out on the field by removing its LRM launcher in favour of being able to cram in a couple of extra medium lasers and heat sinks. Upside, yes, it could stay in the field longer. Downside, it was a lot hotter, even with the extra heat sinks, which made it a little bit more tricky to use for mech warriors who are more used to the standard 4G variant. So the 5K came along when lostech was available, and the lostech upgrades included things like ferrofibrous armour and double heat sinks. It didn't use endo steel, which was kind of surprising considering the weight saving measures they could have had with it, but that's what I believe Luthien Armour Works went with when they upgraded it, being the K variant means Curita. So the 5K doesn't really make any major changes to the mech's weapon loadout. It just increases its ability to dissipate heat and also frees up a little bit of weight with the ferro armour. So essentially the setup on tabletop would have been 4 medium lasers firing forward and 2 firing back. So you would have created a relatively decent combat mech on the tabletop. And in MechWarrior Online, the 2 rear-firing ones are now moved to the front, which gives the Quickdraw an incredible default alpha strike of 6 medium lasers and an SRM-4. Yeah, very, very nasty punch for a 60-ton heavy. And remember, this still includes its jump jets and its relatively decent speed and mobility, so you've still got a very, very capable mech out there on the field. You'll see though the arrangement of the weapons really does preclude you from actually firing that high up, so you are kind of stuck trying to shoot UAVs down. You have to be on the right angle to do it. The other problem is, yes, it's extremely hot, but you can get a good few alpha strikes out of it, or you can also fire 3 and 3 and still do really good damage. I'm aware that a lot of this video is me kind of plodding around for a bit, trying to find a good spot, but near the end I do kind of highlight the 5K's capability and its damage state. And this is default weapons, obviously. When you start customizing it, this is a mech that's got several torso-mounted energy hardpoints and a couple in the arms, so you can mix and match however you feel. You can have a decent-ish zombie mech, because you don't have to worry about the arms if you put any heavier weaponry in the torsos, and it still works well with things like XL engines, and the jump jets and that can be removed if you want to obviously free up more weight for things like heat sinks, or if you want to do ammunition for SRMs and that kind of thing. It's a very effective design, much like the other Quickdraws in my opinion. Really enjoyed running the Quickdraws. It was actually kind of refreshing to play them again for the series, as I hadn't really gone back to the Quickdraw that often since since it came out, to be honest. Here we go. You can see it's I think the hitboxes have been improved on the Quickdraw from what I remember it being, and as you can see the heat there, I'm not doing too bad on the heat with quite a few shots on it. I'm not even at half heat with the number of shots I've fired, and the SRM's adding to that heat. If I was just firing the lasers I would have a much quicker time of being able to fight this Griffin. But yeah, didn't really come out of it too bad armor-wise either, considering that was an SRM-focused Griffin. So overall, Quickdraw, 5K, 4G and 4H are all worth it, as I've said in the previous Quickdraw video. Well worth the price of admission. And I guess I'd be interested to know what kind of experiences you guys have had with the Quickdraw. What it is, whether you like it, whether you hate it. I am aware that when it came out, a lot of people were sort of immediately sort of like no, it's ugly and I don't like the look of it. But let's face it, we've had uglier mechs in MechWarrior Online, and we've certainly had uglier mechs in tabletop. Like looking at the Imp and you know, a couple of others like that. So The Quickdraw is relatively pretty compared to them. And, I mean, for 60 tons, I'm not sure if it might just be the perfect balance of Inner Sphere weight to speed ratio. I know the Thunderbolt is out there, but you have to do some real tweaking with the Thunderbolt to get it to this kind of level, whereas the Quickdraw kind of comes out the box this effective, which is kind of surprising. That's before you really start customizing it and coming up with your own sort of custom builds, and taking advantage of the quirks that they give there. Obviously, whether these quirks and stuff will be as effective when the skill tree comes out, I don't know. I mean, on the point of the skill tree, this is so this has been recorded March 10th, March 10th, 2017. So a couple of weeks before the PTS. Well, not the PTS. The skill tree system was due to go live. Let's go with predictions. I think the skill tree will probably shake a lot of things up. It's certainly going to divide a lot of people. I'm more of the opinion that it's probably going to cause a lot of headaches for PGI at first. New systems generally do for any developer. But I think it will probably be an improvement in some respects. My biggest fear about the system, though, is it going to be pay to win? Is it going to basically say to people, if you want to really max out a mech, you got to drop some mech credits and some real money to get, the really good stuff? Or, is it just going to be a more balanced system? I've got a fear that it's not going to be a balanced system. I really think it's going to be a pay-to-win system that's going to cause quite a few problems for players, especially newer players who might not be 100% au fait with a lot of the changes that they were bringing in compared to the existing systems that we're all used to. However, I do still think that PGI, they need to do something to kind of freshen up the gameplay, and short of completely gutting the current mechanics, doing something new and different with it. They haven't really got much else open to them as an option. So, yeah, I'm falling on the side of being slightly more positive about the skill tree, but I do fear that they will end up making some kind of gaff that will need several iterations. But if they don't do it, they're never going to advance, are they? So as you see there in the fight, I killed, 3 mechs in total with that. I took out an archer and a cataphract, 2 other heavies, heavier mechs than me. Not bad, considering. And I was the last guy on my team, and I think I did okay damage. I did pretty good. So, yeah, that was Quickdraw, the 5k. Thanks for watching, everybody. That's the end of the Quickdraw. Look forward to the Rifleman coming next. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!